Today we're filming White Rabbit Magic Colors, which is a kindergarten art docent lesson. Before the lesson starts, about 15 minutes before your scheduled lesson time, you should pick up the bin, which is in the teacher workroom behind the front desk at ULUPA. And if you don't know where to find it, they can point you to it. So when you get to the classroom, you set up by maybe displaying this finished product. So in the bin is a lesson, notes for you to refer to as you teach, the book, White Rabbit Magic Colors, that this lesson is based on, stack of paper plates that you'll be using for your paint. We'll just give that to him now. There are wet wipes in the bin. This book, Colors, which you can also use to discuss with the kids. In this portfolio are the stickers that refer to Bennett Valley Education Foundation that you'll stick on every piece of artwork, and the templates for the kids to do their artwork on. So we'll pull two of those right now. Also in the bin are the paints, yellow, red, and blue. And this is a lesson about primary colors, so that's all you need. You'll be creating the rest of your colors. When you get to the classroom, you should have the kids move to their rainbow carpet or whatever the teacher uses and gather there. And while they're gathered on the carpet, your assistants will pass out one of these little plates to every seat. Thank you for showing how that's done. And they'll pass out one of these to every seat, just like this. And they may even want to start putting some paint down to get these little plates ready. To do that, you need very little paint. This is finger painting, really basic. So you just need like a teaspoon size blob, maybe tablespoon at the most, of each color. Pretending we're on the carpet, I would say to the kids, and I'll just go ahead and start and say to you, today we are going to talk about colors and how just 3 colors, red, yellow, and blue, can be mixed to make many more colors. And later we'll paint colors with just one fingertip, and we'll use our magic fingertip to create secondary colors, orange and green and purple and even brown. So right now we'll share the books. So you start by sharing this book, White Rabbit's Colors, and take your time with it. Let the kids guess what will happen when the rabbit hops from one color pot to the next. So you start out, one day White Rabbit found 3 big tubs of paint, red, yellow, and blue. So you go through the book and let the kids predict what will come next, and just have some fun with that. And then after you read through this book, we also have in the bin this book called Colors. And this is a great book for discovering the mixing of colors, because it has these clear pages that allow the scene to change on the very same page. Show them the project while they're still on that carpet. So you'll hold this up or point to it and say, now this is the project we're going to do, and we're only going to use one finger to do our artwork today. So listen carefully so you know what to do and you can follow the instructions. And have them walk to their desks. Have them start by writing their name on the back of the paper. You should also pass these out. You could even have your helper stick this on ahead of time, which is just to help parents understand where their donated money goes, that it's funding these lessons. So once you've taken care of the back side, things for this art project, you'll start on the front and the actual project. So we start by having them dip one finger in the yellow, and we'll start on this number 1 rabbit. This is number 2. The numbers don't look very clear, 3 and 4. It doesn't really matter which order you go in, but if we follow the numbers, this is how we'll do it, kind of a clockwise thing. So we start by dipping fingers in yellow, and when you're in the classroom, I want you to show it to the kids and then to have them take a turn. In the interest of time, we're going to do it together. Okay, so we're dipping our finger in yellow. Go ahead and start with me, Willie. And then you color your rabbit in with yellow. Get heavy paint on. You want to be able to mix 2 colors of paint. So if they've hardly got any wet paint, they'll have a harder time blending colors. And yellow tends to be overwhelmed by the other colors anyway, so you want to have heavy yellow. So start with this paint, and it really does not matter if they go outside the lines. As you can see, that's going to happen. you use your yellow finger before you wet wipe it off and do a dot of yellow right near the 1. And that helps the kids understand that using yellow plus the next color, they'll get a secondary color. Thank you for reminding me. So we clean off our paint brushes, and now we'll dip it into some red paint. So red is a more saturated pigment, so you need less to create orange. So just have them take one dip and rub it in. Now, if you just rub it that far, it's going to stay red. So you have them rub it and work with it for a while, swirling, going back and forth. The more they work with it, the more orange it will be. Go ahead, you can jump in and do this too. So the more they move it around, the better blend they'll achieve with the yellow and the red. Okay, our next rabbit, number 2, will be a combination of red and blue. So you show the kids first, then they follow you, but we'll do it together. So get a little bit of red, cover that rabbit. I'm going to just show you if the kids have very little, let's hold yours up. Say the kids start off with very little red. You want to encourage them to get it heavier or they won't be able to blend colors. So it needs to be a little bit damp, not just dry. So you cover it with the red and do your red dot in the corner. So blue, I got very little, and I'm just going to see if I can blend these two to create a nice purple shade. And of course, before you start the blending, you can ask the kids, what color will this turn into when we take red and blue? What color are we going to get? The more you blend, the more that secondary color comes through. So encourage the kids to blend. And I forgot to do my little dot, so I'm doing a little dot in the corner. Then you move to the third, number 3 is down in this corner, and this will be a combination of blue and yellow. So since I've got blue on my finger, I'll go ahead and start it with blue. I'll do a little dot so I don't forget. And then I'm doing very little blue because the blue is such a rich, saturated paint pigment, and the yellow gets really overrun by it if you don't have a lot of yellow relative to the blue. So this is probably a little too dry. We'll find out. I got a lot more yellow on my finger. It's a lot more wet with yellow. And I'm just swirling it because I feel like that's a good way to pick up the colors. You can see that undercoat is blue still. So if you wanted, or if the kids want to try and get a lighter shade, then you could say, okay, then get some more yellow and see what happens. So I'm going to do that. Also, I forgot to do my dot. So I'm going to get some more yellow and do my dot so that I don't forget. And then I'll just rub that in and see what kind of a shade we get there. And this definitely is a lighter shade of the green now that I added more yellow to it. So that's helping the kids understand that the secondary colors that you create depend a lot in the ratio of your paints, whether you use a lot of one or the other. And you can help them understand that artists will do this in their work. They will not use the paint set of colors. They'll probably be pulling and creating lots of secondary colors so that they can capture the whole spectrum of colors that's out there in nature instead of just limiting themselves to whatever paints they've purchased and are working with. Okay, we'll move on to the last one. And just like the last bunny in the book was a cute brown rabbit after it had dipped in all of them, we're going to use all of the colors to create the last rabbit. So make sure that you get your little dot, but then it doesn't matter if the kids are drawing with a messy finger because all of these colors are going to get blended. So we're going to go ahead and start with blue here. Again, I'm not using a lot of blue because the blue tends to overrun. Good, yeah, overrun those other colors. Be sure to add the red and yellow dot to the blue one so the kids will remember that those 3 colors combine to form brown. If the kids would like to see what kind of shade they've created, you could have them even do a little line to say, look at that, that's a good brown color that we didn't get from a bottle, we made it. So once they've had a chance to blend in these colors, then you can just encourage them that when they're painting as kindergartners or first graders or for the rest of their life, that they should experiment with this creation of secondary colors because they'll be able to capture a lot more real colors when they do this blending.